Hello, this is Kate Green, and today I'm going to be sharing a dream board slash vision board turned spell board that I made last night. I'd like to share this with you, the intentions of it, the correspondences, and how I made it. So, giving credit where credit is due, this was entirely excited by and inspired by Molly of the YouTube channel HerSpeaks in the video called Scary Good Vision Boards. I think it was called that. And she talked about how, her experiences and ideas of how to use vision boards in your magical practice, which is something that really inspired and excited me. So I wanted to share mine. This one is really utilizing the archetypes and energies of two specific tarot cards, the High Priestess and the Queen of Wands. And the intention and purpose for this was to channel those energies, to enhance them and evoke them, invite them into my life, into myself, and finding balance in these two energies. So, let's see. People make these associations within the terminology of female and male, but that does not really resonate with me because for me, these energies are inherently feminine within myself, and so I don't really use that terminology with the dichotomy of male and female. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just really doesn't vibe with me personally at this point in my life. And I was interested in evoking both of these energies in their feminine forms. That is really empowering and important to me at this part of my craft and in the stage of my being. But to each their own. And, everyone does it their own way, whatever resonates. So I'll go through the associations of both the sides and share how I made this, what energies lent themselves to this, and how I activated this dream board through ritual spell work. So we'll start over on the left side, or the moon side, as I call it. This is the High Priestess side, which I was associating with the energy of introversion. And my associations with this are intuition, wisdom, reflection and contemplation, inward spirituality, divination, witchcraft knowledge, magic, reaching within rather than outward. And this is really depicting the internal energy. Sacred, intuitive, internal energy. Now, moving over to the right side, we have the Queen of Wands over here. And I'll call this the sun side, if you will. So, over here with the Queen of Wands, this is depicting the energy of extroversion, And my associations that I wanted to depict here are creativity, manifestation, focus, strength, reality, or bringing vision into reality through acts of creation, and primarily depicting external energy, as you can see through the paint brushes. Those were to depict the act of creation, and like I said, bringing vision into form. Now, here in the center we have a terrarium image with thankful in the center, and up here we have a tree with balance inside of it. So this is really important to me, not only connecting with these energies individually, but combining them within myself and finding true balance to engage with both of them. How I made this. Lots and lots of Mod Podge. I'm so thankful for Mod Podge. I used a piece of art paper, the largest size that I had, and using some Mod Podge to adhere pages of some books that I was no longer wanting to keep. And there was some importance to the books in which I took the paper from. They were philosophy and female spirituality books, if you will. So they do have some significance in the energies that I was wanting to connect with in this specific dream board. And using acrylic paints, I painted them with corresponding colors. So on the High Priestess moon side, I used the color of the pomegranate, which is coming up more purple, which is good. I wanted it to be a purplish reddish, and it looks a little bit more red in real life. And obviously the pomegranate, within the Rider-Waite tarot deck, has a strong symbolic depiction as it is portrayed on the tapestry behind the High Priestess. And over on the Queen of Wands side, there's a pinkish red color over here. And so I used acrylic paints to make this. I used pages from books. I used magazine cutouts of different words and images that really vibed with me. And I also printed out images of both the High Priestess and the Queen of Wands, which were pretty easy to find online. And I printed those out in miniature form and adhered them to the corresponding sides. So I also used lavender on the High Priestess side, which is one of the many herbs that I associate with kind of the cool energy within, if you will, relaxing, rather than over here on this side, the stimulating cinnamon. And so those are two herbs that I used, which I felt corresponded appropriately with both of those sides. So now I will go into the ritual aspect of this for the spell work and different elements that aided my spell work. So the first element that I used was the element of sigils. I created sigils for both the High Priestess and the Queen of Wands, or more specifically sigils for evoking certain traits that I associate with them. I also forgot to mention, I have a sigil that I've created for manifesting my goals into reality. And so before I even started painting or anything, I drew the sigil in the center, and everything else that went on took place above that. And so I feel like that was good work for the root, for the base, for the foundation, laying that down, that all of these elements that went into it are aiding in manifesting my goals into reality. So there's a sigil that I made, and I don't depict these sigils. I carved them into corresponding colors of candles. So over here I had a purple candle in which I engraved a sigil for evoking specifically the wisdom and intuition and power of the High Priestess. And there was a red candle that I placed over here, engraved with a sigil that I made for specifically evoking the power, creativity, and manifestation of the Queen of Wands. So those were engraved into the candles that I burnt. And there was a white candle here to symbolize the converging of those energies. And on that candle, I engraved 3 symbols. The symbol of evoking the High Priestess, the sigil of evoking the Queen of Wands energy, and also the sigil that I had already used at the base, which was for manifesting my goals. So there was, I actually used my hair in this spell to, even though a lot of my energy was already here, already went into this because I created this and spent a lot of time and energy into it, but for the added boost, I put my hair in it and around it. So what else did I use? Oh, I anointed the candles with one of my infused oils for magical, I call it my magical oomph oil, which I'll probably make a video on that. But it's an infused oil that I use to anoint candles or to draw sigils, to bless, really anything. It's an oil that just aids me in my magical work. So I put that on the spell board and anointed the candles with it as well, which was a nice touch. And of course, other elements that went into this were the elements of the tarot cards themselves. I had the High Priestess tarot card here, the Queen of Wands here, and of course they lent their energies to this. And other elements that went into making this spell work were crystals as follows. So I made a little crystal grid. Over on the moon side, High Priestess side, I had moonstone, clear quartz, and amethyst. So these 3 were acting as a crystal grid, as some people call it, and pushing that energy there. And this, obviously, with my hair and the candle representing convergence, represented myself and bringing these into balance, enhancing, and then pushing them together to converge into balance within myself. I had a hematite here next to the candle, which to me represented the grounding of these energies, bringing them down, grounding them into reality with me, grounding them into my sense of being. And over on the Queen of Wands side, the sun side, I had carnelian, clear quartz, and citrine, one of my favorite stones. So these were also directing and guiding and enhancing these energies, keeping in mind the candles were here and here, and here, and those are the elements that went into the spell work. So, again, I'm so thankful for Molly making that awesome video. It was great, and I was really excited to try this out. It was a really powerful ritual last night, and yeah, I just wanted to share that, and thank you for watching. Bye.